Hey guys, I'm the Burke and I do things, and today it was asked of me that I start doing a makeup collection series on my channel, so I thought let's just go drawer by drawer and we can go through my collection. Today the drawer that we're going through is the primer and setting powder drawer. If you are wondering where I got these little dividers, I got them on Amazon and I can link them down below. They're not actually made for Alex drawers, but in the description they said that they fit perfectly into Alex drawers, and I can confirm that that is true. So I guess we can just go one little section at a time. I have my powders in like this shape here, and then I have illuminating primers in one spot here, and then pore filling blurring primers in here. So let's start with powder. First powder I have is the Maybelline Fit Me Pressed Powder. This is in the shade 100 Translucent. I've obviously made quite a dent on this one. This is probably one of my favorite pressed powders that I have. The next pressed powder I have is the LOL Face Powder. This is actually a little dark for me. It's in the shade 02 Medium. So I actually got this from Shop Miss A, and sometimes I'll use this when I'm a little self-tanned and my foundation is a little too light for me, so I'll set it with a darker powder. Next is a newer loose powder to me. This actually came in last month's Allure Beauty Box. This is the Derma E Sun Protection Mineral Powder with SPF 30. I'm still trying this out. I haven't really come up with an opinion on it yet, but I do like that it has the SPF. The next powder is from Bare Minerals. It is this dual setting powder. I actually grabbed this at a Marshall's. So the one side is just a white and the other side has more of a, I guess, illumination to it. I don't reach for this too often, but I sometimes will reach for the illuminating side when I feel like I'm a little too matte and I want to glow a little bit. Next, I have the NYX No Filter Finishing Powder. I actually genuinely like this pressed powder a lot. This is probably my second favorite pressed powder after the Maybelline's Fit Me. Next, I have the Essence All About Matte Fixing Compact Powder. This is so matte, so matte. I would use this in a case where I know I'm going to be sweating a lot and I don't want my makeup moving at all. That is what this is for. Next is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Redness Powder. I really like this. I actually have hit pan on it. This is really good. I'm pretty sure that when I run out of this, I will repurchase it because I like it a lot. Next, I have the e.l.f. Finishing Powder in Fair Light. I've hit pan on this. This actually I probably will not repurchase because it is a little too dark for me. So similar to the Shop Miss A one, will only use this when I need my foundation darkened a little. And then the last powder in this area is actually probably the oldest powder I have, and this is the CoverGirl Loose Powder. I have not reached for this in quite a while. I probably should try it out again and see how I feel about it, but this used to be what I used all the time. Next, I have a couple loose powders here. The first is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in Fair 05. I love this stuff. It is so good. It's actually hard for me to decide if I like this or my Coty Airspun more. These are just two amazing powders and I love them so much. And then there's another little area back here with powders that I really am not the biggest fan of, but I keep them around for video purposes. The first loose powder I do not like is from Honest Beauty. I have not really had a good experience at all with the Honest Beauty brand. I just find that everything smells real funky. The next pressed powder I have is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Illumination powder. I found that this stuff gives really bad flashbacks, so I don't really like it. The same could be said for the Tarte Smooth Operator Loose Finishing Powder. I got this in an Ipsy and it gives some pretty bad flashback as well. This loose powder is the AOA Studio Perfect Setting Powder. I do not like this because it has glitter in it and it covers your face in glitter when you use it, and that is not what I want when I cover my face in setting powder. Next is the e.l.f. HD Under Eye Setting Powder. I think this is a good powder, but it's so tiny that I never reach for it because it's so freaking tiny. I don't know. I have one more powder. All right, my last face powder is from Stellar. This is in the shade Glow 02, which is probably why I don't like it. This came in a set that I got from Sephora and it was way too dark for me. So maybe I could test it out with a self-tan to see how I feel about it. I just remember how dark it made my under eyes look, so I never really reached for it after that. And those are all my powders. Now we can go on to primers. We will start with this side. So the first primer I have here is the Wet n Wild Dewy Face Primer. I love this stuff. It is so good. I don't know why no one talks about it, but I use this all the time. Next, this is the Coola Dawn Patrol primer. It has SPF 30. I like this, but it has a very, very strong SPF scent. So if that is something that bothers you, I would not use this. Next, I have the NYX Hydra Touch Oil Primer. I don't like this. I got this because people said it was a dupe for the Smashbox one, and I felt like everyone was raving about the Smashbox one, but it takes so long to absorb into your skin. If it absorbed quickly, it would be one thing, but it takes too long, and I just never reach for it because I don't want to wait forever for my primer to finish settling in. Next is my favorite primer, which is the Becca Cosmetics Backlight Priming Filter, and this is what I love. Next, I have this little Too Faced Hangover RX face primer. I really like this. It has a really nice smell, and it's very cooling, I feel like, when you use it. This is the e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate Balm. This is probably the only e.l.f. primer I genuinely like. And the last primer in this drawer is the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer. I do not think this is in any way whatsoever hydrating. This is extremely silicone-y, and I don't know how they can call this a hydrating primer. Okay, we have our last section, which is the blurring pore filling primers. First, from Cover FX, I have their blurring primer, which came in a BoxyCharm. This is fine. I don't really have any issues with it. I just do not typically gravitate towards blurring primers when I'm getting ready. Next is the Benefit Porefessional. I find this almost identical to the Cover FX one I just showed you. I feel that they are very, very similar and have the same feeling about them. I don't really reach for them ever, unless it is a very rare occasion. Next, I have the Becca Evermatte Poreless Priming Perfector. Man, do I think this is weird. It is a very bizarre texture, and it is not my favorite at all. Next, I have the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. This is a newer primer to me, but I actually genuinely liked it when I used it. It didn't feel the way that other primers I don't like feel, I guess. Next, I have the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. I'm not a fan. I know this is a very popular primer, but I just did not enjoy it. Next, I have the Ulta Beauty Poreless Face Primer. This is, I feel like, it says oil-free, but I feel like this is a very greasy poreless primer. It's not that silicone-y feeling that the Cover FX or the Benefit one have, and it's okay. Next, I have the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. This is probably one of my least favorite primers ever. I find that I need to put so much pressure with this, and I just don't like how I have to scrape it so hard against my skin. It's just, I don't know if I have a dud or if this is just not for me. Next, I have the AOA Studio Wonder Skin Poreless Primer. This is from Shop Miss A. I think for $1, it's really not that bad. Next, I have the e.l.f. Tone Adjusting Face Primer. I really don't find that the tone adjusting works, and I feel like a few years ago I was really into color correcting, whereas I don't find that I reach for color correctors anymore. Next is my least favorite e.l.f. primer of all time. This is the Poreless Face Primer. It has a smell like no smell should ever smell. And the last face primer in my collection is the Honest Beauty Everything Primer. It has a very, very funky smell like everything else I've tried from Honest Beauty. And there you have it. That was my full primer and setting powder collection. Let me know, do you guys like these videos? Would you like me to continue on with my collection? Please leave me a comment down below and let me know. As usual, thanks for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, click the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I have my Twitter, my Instagram, and my blog down below. Give them a follow, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys!